What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, and on today's episode of Operation Overhaul, working on an 09 F-150 with the 4.6, and what we're going to be doing is going to be changing a thermostat and the coolant hose tube, whatever you want to call it, the metal one runs under the intake on these. This is the truck engine 4.6, not like the Mustang, but once you pull the intake off, it is pretty much the same engine underneath there, and it does have pretty much about the same tube on these, but the intake I believe is different on these. But what we're going to have to do is remove this air intake tube. We'll have to take the intake off, and then we'll have to take this hose right here off, and then a couple other little things. But for the most part, we'll just pull the intake with the injectors off, and we'll just disconnect all these sensors. You can tell this probably was either a beach or a northern vehicle just by all the oxidation on the aluminum. Let's see if I can see how dirty that is. We'll hope that we can get this stuff out without breaking too much, if anything, if possible. But this goes to your throttle body. Get this connector off, you just lift and flip it over and it should come up. There we go. And then we can pull this one. Yeah, I figured that one had a safety clip too. So far so good, nothing's been a pain in the butt. Stick. May have to put y'all down for a second. So we got all that off, and now what we're going to do is go ahead and disconnect all these injector connectors, which is right here. Be careful, because these will break easy. Should be 4 on each side because it is the 4.6 V8. Sometimes I like to push down and then push the tab. Alright, got one more right there. If I can get it off, I might have to use my pick again. See if I can pull that up. Ooh, let me. There we go. If I can pop that one up too. These can be aggravating sometimes. There we go. And then we can just leave that attached to the intake because it goes right here. And now I just got that wiring harness back here. I'll pull that off, and there's one on that side too. I can see it right there. And then we can start pulling the intake, the bolts for the intake. You may have to remove the fuel rail. I don't know if you can get in between it right here for these bolts, but we're going to see if I can. But here's your bolts right here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's probably 5 on each side. So let me go ahead and start pulling these off, and we'll see if I have to pull the rail or not. If you have to pull the rail, it is an 8mm right there, and it looks like the intake bolts are actually 10s. Here are the bolts, and one thing I did forget to mention was to take the fuel line off. Now, the way it works, this should rotate. You just pry this little tab right here back, and it opens up. And then you can flip it back over and should be able to pull it up like that, and it'll slide right off. Now I do have the intake kind of sitting up. Now whenever you do this, you are going to have to get your hand underneath here in this foam piece, and it may be all busted up and stuff, but you're going to have to get your hand underneath here and pry on it as you're pulling this out, because it is going to catch on the alternator and this crossover tube and all that stuff right there. We'll set y'all up so y'all can kind of watch this. Alright. Should be able to work it out a little bit at a time. And we may have some more sensors underneath. You have to check. Yeah, there's one right here, and that's the flapper. The runner, or whatever you want to call it, door. I see where the tab is. Where is it? There it is. I don't know if anything else is attached. Yep, there is a hose right there. That is actually the booster line. You can pull that out too. Easiest way is just to disconnect it at the booster. Alright. Always forget about those two things. There we are with the intake off. Now I'm going to put some rags down in here, and I'm going to blow this off just because it is pretty dirty, and we were having water leak out of the bell housing whenever we were filling it up, so it should be leaking out inside of this right here. And I can't remember if I have to pull the alternator. It's been a while since I've done this. I've done about 5 or 6 of them, but it's been over 2 years since I've done any of these. But this metal tube is right here, and it runs up right there. Now we're just going to disconnect this quick disconnect. Push it in, and come on. I may have to use 2 hands to do it, but it's got these little white pieces on the side. Trying to get y'all in there. You just push each one of them in and then pull straight back. See if I can get it one-handed. May have to use a pick, but that's how it works. Let me pull this off, and then I'm gonna take a closer look, make sure I don't have to pull the alternator. If I remember correctly, it's just a push connect. I'll have the new one. It should have an O-ring on it. Here's the thermostat. I'll go ahead and show y'all the parts. From over here, the Murray thermostat MU55779. Find somewhere to sit it where it won't fall. We went ahead and got an intake manifold gasket set from Felpro MS97181. And then here's the tube. This is a gate part number. I think it's going to be the HHA133. You might even be able to use this right here, 3266-1133. that should be your heater hose side, and this is your other side. Yeah, it's just a push and connect piece. You can get one from Ford. I don't know if it's pretty much the same part or not. I know they use Motorcraft. I don't know if Gates is copying them or what, but it should be about the same thing. But let me pull this heater hose off real quick and I'll bring y'all back. Well, I got the ports blocked now, and I'm gonna go ahead and pressure test this because I want to see and make sure that that's where it's leaking from before we change it, because there's something under the intake that's leaking. I got it at about 19. I know the cap is a 16, but I like to put just a little bit over just to create a little bit more pressure so we can see it dropping a little bit better. So we got it at 19 right now, and that way I can see that, but it's at 19. And we're going to keep an eye on this for probably 15 minutes or so, and then we're going to see where it's coming from. But there is a lot of rust down in there, and the block, there's pieces of the actual block that's flaking off. Well, y'all can see down in there, but you can see that right there. But we can keep an eye on it. We'll see what happens. All right, so I can't get my hand down in here now, but I've checked the tube where it goes into the block from that little nipple, and it is leaking around that. We're going to go ahead and change the tube and everything, and if you can tell, we are down to about 14 and a half. Gotta get y'all in there. We're down to about 14 and a half on the pressure. Has dropped about 5 psi, so we do know that it is leaking right there. So we can go ahead and do that. So what we need to do is, I haven't pulled this line off yet. We need to pull this line right here off. There is a connector that attaches to the actual tube right there, and then on the back it has a wire loom, looks like that attaches to it, and I think there's one 8mm bolt that holds it to the back of the head, and then after that we can just pull it out and it should be able to just lift right out of here. Now you may have to disconnect a knock sensor connector. I'm not really sure, but you may have to do that, and then after you do that you can pull it right out. Okay, we finally got the bolt off the back of the head, and it is the one that the ground strap attaches to. I could not get my ground strap off, so I just unbolted it and I just broke it loose from the head and just spun it around. I'm probably going to replace this ground strap anyway, just because of how rusted it was. If not, I'll at least clip the end and put a new wire on there for them, or go get one. But now all we have to do is pull it out. If I can set y'all up, see how hard this is going to be to pull out now. Not a big fan of the fuse box location on this, because you can't really get in here. Of course, she's going to be tight. I may have to get a pry bar and pry it loose a little bit, so I don't drop everything that's up there on the cowl panel. See if I can get a screwdriver in there first. Just trying to get in here and position myself where I can get good leverage. Camera. It's coming. It's very slowly. Yeah, let me go get a pry bar. Stick it in between the crossover and the intake portion. If I can get back out of this damn thing. Now let's see if I can get it out. There it goes. And yes, you're going to have a lot of water that runs out. Get my foot back in here. Everything connected to this thing. Come on. Get off of there. There we go. There's a plug back here, and as you can tell, it's got a lot of stuff on it. There's a lot of stuff just come out of here. Disgusting. Now I'm gonna pull this O-ring off because I gotta go get one. I'll show you what it looks like. Two O-rings. I forgot it's got two on it. That's what they look like. So it's been a couple of days. We had to reorder the tube. The one we got was the wrong one. I think that might have been for Mustang, but here's the correct one right here. We did go to Ford and get it. Should have done that to begin with. This thing is hard to find the part number, so here they are. You can go from the KT50, or you can go off the 9L3Z-18663-6, and I've even looked it up with the 5111453. So you can pretty much go off of all of that, and they just call it a water pass tube. It's hard to find. Even my Ford rep, he was having a hard time finding this on his computer because it didn't have a good picture, and he sent me a email with it in there just to make sure it's the right one, and I've compared it to the old one already. This is the one we need. So I'm going to take the sticker off, go ahead and switch over the hose that goes right here. Also, I did get some new tube seals that go on the front. This is them right here. Part number ES73048 Felpro. Those were hard to find as well, so y'all have those part numbers along with these, because there's like a little nipple that sticks out on the back of where the water pump bolts to, and this end right here goes up in there. Let me see if I can show it to y'all. Try to get up in here where y'all can kind of see it. Should be able to see a nipple down in there somewhere. Yeah. But it's down in there. I don't know if y'all saw it. I won't see it until I edit it, to be honest. But there's one down in there, and it's got 2 O-rings on it that you need to replace whenever you do this, because I believe it was leaking out of the O-rings, but we wanted to do the tube because these tubes do rot out fairly easy, with them being just standard steel and just regular carbon steel, which I don't know why they would do that. Me personally, I would have done either an aluminum or thin stainless steel line, or you could do a hose all the way, which is whatever. It's a Ford design, who knows. But let me, like I said, switch over that hose right there as part of your heater hose onto this one, and go ahead and start putting this back together. And whenever I get to where I'm putting the intake on, I'll bring y'all back so I can tell y'all the torque specs to everything. And I was thinking about one more thing I was going to tell y'all, but cannot remember. But if I think about it, I'll let y'all know. Before I put the intake on, I about forgot that I need to show y'all where the thermostat is. It's right here, and it's just 2 8mm, and it just come right out. We've already drained all the coolant, as y'all saw. So it shouldn't be really too much in here, if any. So, come on. I'll do it one-handed, and it's a little rough. Plus, like I said earlier, it was oxidized. So I'm guessing this is a northern car. Well, she's gonna be stuck on there, so I'm gonna have to pry her off. Yep. Let me get a little rubber mallet or something real quick. Yeah, I got like a little ball peen, just tap on it real easy. There it goes. Yeah, she was just stuck in there really good. Now let's see if I can get this thermostat out. Oh wow, thermostat come out easy. There's your thermostat. You can see this one is coppered up, because the water in there was extremely dirty. Drop that right here about high up. Of course it didn't come with a gasket. Why would it? That's one thing I hate nowadays, is these thermostats do not come with gaskets anymore. So I have to order a gasket. But I want to give y'all a little tip too. I'm putting this hose right here on your heater hose. Put a little bit of lube around the little nipple portion that comes out of the firewall, and it'll slide on there a whole lot easier. But I do have the bolt in the back of it, and got the tube on. I lubed up the O-rings that went on down here. I put the first one on like in the first screw, then I slid the second one, and it just slides right over the first one, so you don't have to worry about trying to pick it up and back out of the groove with the next one. Just put it in the first one on the first try, then it'll slide right over. Lube that up, slide your pipe in, and just remember the configuration in which the wires go, because it does kind of go in front of the wires and then underneath them right here on the knock sensor portion. But let me I gotta go grab a O-ring for this right here, like a gasket for the thermostat. As you can see, it is like a little tapered recess fit. I'm gonna clean that off while I got it out too. And then I'll go ahead and start putting the intake on. I'm gonna wipe all this off, like try to clean it up a little bit. You can see it's a little dirty. I did blow it off with an air hose, that's why all these are closed. But we're gonna try to clean this up a little bit just so it's got a clean surface to make too, and make sure we don't have any vacuum leaks on that. As y'all can tell from the sound, the truck is running now, and I just want to give y'all some torque specs on the intake, the thermostat, and the fluid that we put in for the coolant. The intake torques to 89 inch-pounds. You want to start in the middle, and you want to work your way in a circular pattern all the way out. So if you start right here in the middle, go to that one in the middle, and then just go one beside it and work your way out in a big circle. You can do clockwise, counterclockwise. I don't think it really makes a difference as long as you just spread the load out evenly. And then after you torque it down, go back over it one more time just to be sure that they are all tight. And the thermostat housing does torque to 18 foot-pounds. Also, in the Velcro kit, there was a thermostat gasket in there, so that helped out a lot. And that made things a lot easier. But we did go with Go5 0X by Valvoline, the gold, and I did put a whole gallon of that and about a half gallon of water in there with it, distilled water, mineral free water, whatever you want to call it. I did not get it from the hose, just so y'all know, but we did put that in there. Oh, we did flush the system as well because it did have a lot of buildup inside of it. But we are letting it run now. I'm gonna let it come up to temperature check, make sure there's no leaks or anything. But this is pretty much how to put one of those heater tubes, thermostat, and intake gaskets on here. It's kind of like a multi-educational video, I guess you could say, because it did cover 3 things that you can change on this. But if I have any questions, comments, concerns, please let me know in the comment section below, and I'll get back to them as soon as possible. If I did something wrong, let me know as well, because I'll try to fix it either in the comments or on the next video. I do want to say, I want to give a shout out to my very first member on the page. His name is Raymond Madrid. I just want to say thank you for the support, and I will put you in the comment section, or not comment, but the description below, and I'll do that with all my members and all of my Patreons as well. Give y'all like a shout out. But like I said, if y'all have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know. I do thank y'all for all the support, even my subscribers and the views and likes and all that stuff, because it does help out the channel. And if y'all haven't hit the like, subscribe, notification bell yet, please do so. And look on the channel, you might find something else that you like. I do have over 200 videos up at the current moment. And y'all remember, torque is tight. Y'all have a great day.